Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, and welcome to another edition of the Artemis Fowl Scratch Offs. And today we're covering book 4, The Opal Deception.
Yes! And this one is one of the fan favorites of the series, the other one being number 6, The Time Paradox.
And we hope you're enjoying this as much as we are.
Right?
And if this is your first time here, what the Scratch Offs are is that when we read the books, we would read the lines the characters had, and somehow Rascal says I came up with other ideas that just had to be shared. And basically, I just tell you the truth of what the character was really thinking.
Yes!
And so today we're covering the Opal Deception, and this is going to have a few more than others
Right.
because there's just a whole lot of activity and
Right.
action in here.
Right. Now for book 4, it is longer than usual. This takes place months after the events of book 3. Artemis, Belle, and Juliet, their minds have been wiped, so now they no longer remember the fairy people or Haven. And it looks like Artemis has gone back to being a criminal mastermind. Even though he had promised his father he would stop, he doesn't really remember making the promise, so now he's still doing it.
Maybe he thought he was in the Disney movie.
Okay then. And at the same time, when he's going after a priceless painting, stealing a priceless painting.
The fairy thief.
Right, the fairy thief. At the same time, Opal Cowboy, who was presumed to be, in a coma, had, as the title said, a deception, and has gotten free from her holes in the, I guess it's like an asylum, not a crazy asylum, but the other type of one. And she vows revenge on Artemis and all the people that helped put her away back in book 2. And with that, Holly has to go and save Artemis and help get his memory back so the two of them can take down Opal once and for all.
Now, before we start,
be sure to like, subscribe, and notification updates on future podcasts and multiple videos.
and these books are written by Owen Colfer. If you have not read this series, buy them, get them from your local library. But you might as well buy them up front because once you start reading them, you're going to want to own them. They are appropriate for ages 8 to 80 to 800.
Right.
You will love this series. Owen Colfer is a brilliant writer, and this is a brilliant series, and he has many other books that also tend to take place in the same universe,
Yes.
which we will share with you at a later time.
Yes. Now, for this one, as we said, this is one of the fan favorites, and there's a lot more than usual going on. It's just really engaging from start to finish. So for these particular scratch-offs, they start a little bit later into the book because it's a while before the action starts going. Because once it starts, it doesn't stop and it's high action.
Definitely.
So before it gets to the action, the first one takes place a couple chapters in when they show for Holly, and she's about to be promoted to major but doesn't want the position. So they get this suspicion that something's going on with the goblins. And the first thing Holly says is ridiculous, and she says, "Do you think it's Artemis Fowl?" And I said, "He's been mind wiped. How could he come back?"
And
It's
I
been
said, okay, is he dreaming of it? She dreaming about him or something? Is she dreaming every night? Artemis Fowl return.
Well, after that other book where she waited a year for him to come back, I guess so, because, like, every book she thought he did something and he didn't. It's like, will you quit saying it's Artemis? She already drove the people crazy in book 2. Like, I don't want to hear any more about this boy, okay? Okay, and then later on, before they see what's going on with the goblins, they said that Haven is making a movie based on the first book, which I guess was what Owen always wanted to have for his book. So Haven is making a movie about the first book, and then they show that a celebrity is going to play Holly, and then Artemis is going to be completely CGI.
Right.
And it sounds really weird how they're doing it, but then Mama said...
And I bet it's still better than the Disney Plus version.
It's gotta be.
I'm sorry.
Oh gosh. Okay. So after all of that, and they find out they've been tricked, Opal places a bomb on Root, and Root gives Holly the command to go save Artemis because she's gonna go after him next when she takes Root out. And he gives her the order. He says, "Go and save Artemis. That is the last order you will ever receive from me." And then Mom replied with a bit,
Well, what about Butler?
like, "Well, I guess you could save him too. I guess he's gonna be there, so I guess, that's automatic."
And then we said, well, maybe because he's the mastermind, he'll be the only one they figure can help them to take down Opal.
Right.
Or whatever was going on.
Right, which was
he did
true.
know was Opal by the time
Which was true anyway. So yeah, but then she added in a little bit later after she got further in.
She was going to do that anyway because she got to go save her man.
I never get tired of that. It's like, well, yeah, that was a given anyway. Okay, so then they kind of fast forward to trying to save Artemis before Opal unleashes Bio Bomb where he is, because she already knows his location because she set it up for him to follow, so she knew where to set the trap. So she's trying to rush there and trying to find the room, but the way they phrase a line in here when they're describing what's happening, it sounds off. So it says, I would have to find Artemis on her own or find the room. Yeah, find his room on his own. And then Ma said,
okay, this is starting to get a bit weird.
yeah, the wording sounded odd. It said, okay, knowing how she is, don't go 50 Shades of Foul on us. We'll have to stop reading this book to you. It's like, well, nothing like that happens, but the way it was phrased didn't sound right out of context.
Right.
Okay, so then after that, they show like a side A, side B thing. The bomb goes off, but Lily Butler gets Artemis out of there, but both of them are wounded, possibly fatally. And Holly ends up, there after the bomb went off because she thought they were gone, but still went to check anyway. And Artemis caught a bit of a glimpse of her, and he could still tell the detail of how she looked and her features and everything before he had like a sort of wound that made him go into shock before he passed out. But the funny part for Mama was,
even with a bloody wound, he's still looking at her. he's
totally dying.
It's like,
aren't you dying or something?
Where you got two ribs sticking out and you're going, oh, she's pretty.
And remember, he doesn't know who she is, so he kind of thought she did it.
And his hormones, remember we were saying puberty.
Yeah, which comes later. Yeah, so which actually comes in a bit later for the next
like
book.
The start.
Yeah. Okay, so of course she heals him, and then it kind of goes a bit forward to where she heals him, takes him away. She can't get Bella because he's too darn big. And she takes him to somewhere where she's been before and sort of a hideout while he rests and heals. When he wakes up, he still doesn't remember who she is. And it said that Holly would have... oh, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Here we go. It says, ideally, Holly could have gotten Butler too, but he was too bulky, and he's like really gigantic as they described him. The world needs Artemis' devious brain to stop Opal. And then Mom replied with,
yeah, okay, Holly, you were crying over his genius brain being gone? Okay, no.
Yes, because it showed that when she thought he was gone, she kind of fell apart and just had to pull herself together to see, like, he can't really be gone. It's Artemis Fowl. But there were instances where the minute he was gone, like, that would be the end for her. Mm-hmm. So it really was foreshadowing for the next few books.
Right.
Okay, so then after she gets into a safe place, hold on. So I had to find the correct page. Well, she asked if he remembered her, and he didn't. Nothing was clicking yet. And he says that something would have to be triggered for the memory to reverse and wipe out the mind wipe itself, and he recall everything. Let's call it total recall. But Holly says she kind of thought it'd be easier if he just got her. If she just got him, because she said, I was hoping just see me would trigger the memory recall. And then Mom said what she really said.
Basically, she was saying, look, you know I'm gonna be your woman eventually. You should remember me. I saved your life like 3 other times.
And I was like, no, that's not how that works. That's not how this works. Like, wait, just seeing you was enough to trigger it? Like, that'd be too easy.
Yeah, she really thought that.
It was like, and he was like, no, that's not how this works. It was absolutely hilarious. Okay, then there's this extra scene that I found later after a second or third time reading, and neither of us actually caught on to this. This actually has to do with Opal. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 scenes featuring her and Artemis. The first one is that she said that, in different circumstances, she and Artemis could have teamed up instead of her teaming up with Crudgeon back in book 2. Maybe they could have worked together. And it feels like, well, why are you even offering that? He's not going to do that. This is past him being the redemptive part.
She's full of herself.
Yeah. And then it kind of gets weirder with the way she interacts with Artemis. Yeah, she wants to take him out, but there's some point where she kind of almost offers a sort of out of this, like if she works with him, he can get out of it and just leave Holly what he wasn't gonna do. But there was a point where she kind of played with his hair or something, and the way she was talking to him was a bit different before it got towards the end. And then I kind of said, okay, wait, is she flirting with him or something? Because the interactions did not seem very natural for someone who wanted revenge.
And then I read it and it was like, it does seem like that. It's
Like,
kind of
she
like
get
that
a-
episode of Full Metal Alchemist where that criminal that was supposed to be like Catwoman
Yeah.
was telling Ed she would see him later
Yeah,
in a
when he
few
grew,
years. And
yeah.
was like, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, that's what happened, because it felt like, wait a second. Like, okay, even Opal's looking at him now. Like I said, let's cut up short.
And only because she probably knew Holly was looking at him, because you know it was always a competition with her. She wanted to be the most beautiful. The
Yeah, she was
smartest,
crazy.
Everything. She wanted to be the extrapolar, blah, blah, blah. Okay, tongue twister. She wanted to be the epitome of everything. Let's just use that word.
yeah, let's do
And so, of course, if Holly was interested, and yeah, she
Yeah,
had to be
like, oh,
better.
gosh.
Surely she's a better choice.
And at that point, I just said, you know, when one later books of color, he didn't stay in Haven that long, because if he did, I think there'd be other fairy girls that would change their opinions on humans, and it would be like a whole mess. Okay, so then later on, it kind of gets to do this whole big chase scene and trying to get out of this, what they call a Temple of Artemis, where she puts him in to pretty much die. And it's pretty much just them trying to survive the whole time. The only scene that really come into play that could be was really potential. They took down the graphic novels that when they were together, they found comfort in each other, which I said was a hint. And then they took it out in the graphic novel altogether.
Which means they knew fully well that it gave this impression. So when they're telling you for the movie, or they're telling you that that's not what's going on, clearly it must have been, because if it wasn't, why would you take the scene out of the
Yes.
graphic novel so that people wouldn't get that impression?
Yes.
Because it gave that impression.
Yes.
Because you knew it was true.
Right, because they replaced the scene with him getting, like, seeing flashes of memory, which did happen, but they acted like that was all that happened in one part, and that's pretty much it. So then after that, it kind of just skips ahead. There's no other scenes like that except for when he gets his memory back, and she's really thrilled, and you kind of interpret it as that. And then it gets to after they get Opal, and
They
they
get
can
rescued
say,
by Mulch and Butler.
yeah, exactly. And then when they have where they're supposed to be going their separate ways, supposedly.
Because this is the end of the book.
You're right. And Holly says to Artemis, "Oh, don't worry. I'll be keeping a close eye on you to make sure you stay on the straight and narrow." And you said,
Like, why do you need to watch him?
like, isn't he good now? And may I have memory
Keep an
back?
eye on you. Okay.
Yeah, and that even comes in the next book. They're like, "You sure you mean that? Because it sounds like something else."
And it literally comes about to fruition in the next
Yes,
book.
we will definitely
And
get
then
into.
we'll tell you where there was a foreshadowing of what happened in book 5 in book 3.
Yes, and then the last two, there was one where Ark Sewell was in charge, and he was just really a piece of work, and he tranquilized both Artemis and Butler, and she was telling you he didn't have to do that. They didn't even know where we were, but he's a jerk. And they said she kind of slips in something, like Artemis feels something, but he doesn't know what it is. Yeah, and this of his shirt, and then the jacket, yeah. And then when he wakes up, he remembers that part, and then he takes down, it's a little communicator ring, and it's a specific phone. It's actually a little phone, and they put it on to talk to one person specifically. And I said, well, does that mean technically she gave him her number?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she gave
what
him
it meant.
it-
Literally,
it
she gave
only-
him her fairy number.
I mean, he doesn't ask for it. She just gave it to him.
She's like, all this crap has happened all these other times. You've gotten mind wiped. I don't know where you were. I've lost track of you. I don't know where you are. So now I'm going to make it where I can call you anytime I want.
Yeah, and it's like, oh boy.
So it was the equivalent of giving him her number.
Yeah, and then they even say, like at the very end, before the end of the book and the epilogue, is that when Artemis's parents come back and is like fully realizing, he's got his family back and he can fully enjoy them. He asked Holly to call him back, and she said, hold on. And then it says, Holly frowned. Oh wait, sorry, there's so much here. Okay. They say, can you call me back? And Holly says, okay, 5 hours, and you better have some suggestions for me, because at that point she's going to become a private investigator with Mulch as her partner. And then Mom said, like, wait, 5 hours?
I said, dang, she couldn't wait to talk to him again.
Yes!
I can call you back in 5 hours, like that should be enough time. You can eat, do all this. You better be ready in 5 hours to talk to me.
Like, oh boy! And then, yeah, this, like you said, this comes into play in book 5 with future characters and stuff, because, oh my gosh, it's
And
like, how
so
much?
many things take place in book 5 where you can see the natural progression of what's going to happen.
Yes.
So, for those who don't see it, I'm sorry.
How
the
can you
nicest
take
thing
this?
to say is you simply don't want to see it. It's there. It's being written into the book, and it's a progression that can't be missed.
Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious.
So that concludes this edition of Artemis Fowl Scratch Offs. If you have any that you thought of while you were reading the book, let us know in the comments. Do you agree with these?
Yeah.
Do
you somehow see something platonic here?
Or do you agree with these scratch offs? I mean, we're gonna see it no matter how many times we read this book. That's how we're gonna see it. But let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to
be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
And we will see you next time for book 5,
which is called The Lost Colony. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.